Good afternoon, everyone. I'm William Masai Rinchi, a training coordinator at the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start and grow through our no-cost consulting, webinars, and training programs. We are proud to be part of this national accredited network of SBDCs with over 1,000 centers across the US. You have joined us today on this webinar on the topic, Marketing on a Budget When You Have No Time. A follow-up email will be sent to all attendees within the next 2 business days with today's materials. All attendees have been muted. However, we encourage you to post any questions you may have in the Q&A and chats, and that will be answered after the presentation. Now I will turn over the floor to Gab. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I really appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be talking about some marketing strategies, especially if you're facing, some time where there's not a lot of it for doing your marketing, and if you don't have a huge marketing budget to work with. So I'm going to share the slides and just let me know if anything is not visible for this. So for today, just want to start out with a little bit about our Temple Small Business Development Center. We serve small businesses across Philadelphia and Montgomery counties. Our mission is to provide small business owners with the knowledge that they need to make smart decisions and prosper. We're able to provide no-cost consulting and webinars like today, in part due to the funding we receive from the United States Small Business Administration, the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, as well as Temple University. Just a little bit about our center. We offer no-cost confidential business consulting for entrepreneurs at every stage of business. So if you're thinking of starting a business, or you're already in business and would like to scale or focus on a specific topic, we can help you. Here are just some of the examples of topics we assist small businesses with: business planning, growth, marketing, technology, financials, contracting. If you would be interested in working with one of our consultants, please follow the QR code or visit our website, and you'll be able to register there. You can work one-on-one in person or by Zoom at a time that's convenient for you. In addition to the consulting, we also offer programs, webinars like today's session, and clinics throughout the year. You can find more information on our website. You can follow, again, the QR code on this slide for some of the training events that are coming up. Every month, we have a 2-part business planning session called First Steps. Also in June, we'll be featuring a webinar talking about using LinkedIn for small business. So please join us and check out our calendar of events. Today, I just want to start with just a background on what marketing is, some places to make sure that you have a good idea of your branding, of your messaging, and then get into 10 strategies. Again, if budget and time is a concern for you, as a small business owner, you're often running the business all day and have to do all the operations and marketing as well. So we'll talk through some things to be most effective. Marketing is the process of guiding the entire customer journey from when a client learns about your business, the product or service you offer, and then taking them through that journey of piquing interest, getting to know your business, maybe trying it out, making the purchase, and then ultimately becoming a long-term loyal customer, where then they're referring other customers to your business. And what is, marketing? It can really be any of these items that we'll talk about today. It can be everything from social media, content, promotions, partnerships, emails, your website. All of those things can fall under the marketing umbrella. Oftentimes, when it comes to small business marketing, all of these things can quickly become overwhelming. We hear a lot about social media, email marketing, content, video, AI. Where do we begin? That's what today's about. Let's focus on a few of those channels that connect with your specific customer and then come up with some frameworks and systems to put that into place. I'm just going to quickly check out our chat. Welcome everyone. If you would like to just, put what industry you're in or, what type of business you own, that'll help just provide some, additional real life examples if I'm able to share those. So where do you get started first? The most effective strategies that a small business can put into place is really to stay one, consistent. I'll repeat that word multiple times today. We want to focus on the relationships that we have and leverage those and work to build them as well. Also, something else that works, really hand in hand with that is the trust building. We want to make sure that we're providing, a trustworthy business and relationships moving forward. And we want to just put in some simple and repeatable frameworks and systems. Real life happens. Something could happen this week that takes your attention away from the business. So we also want to have, just a backup plan that we can put into place again. That can come into some of the planning strategies we have. So if something happens this week, that you have to, take care of, that the marketing's still working. Some pain points that small businesses may face is that the marketing is inconsistent. We post a lot, things come up, business gets busy, then we're unable to post. Things get too overcomplicated. We put systems or technology or platforms in, maybe that we're not very familiar with, or maybe we're doing too many things at once. We can also maybe stop too early. We want those immediate results, but sometimes we just have to see things through. So we're going to talk through that as we go throughout today's presentation. Two things to always keep in mind if you work with me through consulting or any webinar I start off with is two things. One, know the customer. Know everything about them, their age, their income, their lifestyle, where they are. How can your brand get in front of them? Big part of this is what's the problem that your customer has that your business is solving? That then leads into your business's unique value proposition, okay? That's going to be key in crafting the messaging that no matter if I meet you in person, I come into your business, I read an email that you sent, I see an advertisement, I'm hearing the same messaging. I'm becoming very familiar with what you offer. It's very clear the problem that you'll solve for me, and that's building that trust and that rapport. So the unique value propositions, very easy. You could use this at the next networking event you have. Who do you help? What do you offer? Why is it better or different? What problem are you solving for the client? If you ever get stuck during an introduction or something at a networking event, just go back to who do you help? What do you offer? The problem you solve. And that's how you'll build that trust. And again, this clear messaging, focusing on the benefits that your business provides, your service provides, and then how you're solving the customer's problem. So again, we can utilize any of these strategies today, but if we're not clear on who the client is, our messaging and our efforts aren't going to get in front of them. And then the second part, the messaging. Again, we could post 1 million social media posts this year. If it doesn't have that messaging that's connecting, it's not going to be as successful. So here's just two examples for messaging. Say I own a local coffee shop at a busy corridor, and my clients, are on the go. They're super busy. They want to, stop in the morning, grab their coffee and breakfast, be on their way. So one example is we have great coffee, delicious food, friendly staff, something for everyone. It's a really general, broad message. We're trying to appeal to everyone because, sure, we could have, as a, location in a busy corridor, we could have many clients, but we really want to connect with those that are coming in every day to support our business. Who are they? They're on the go. They don't want to spend a lot of time. They're comfortable with technology. They're used to mobile ordering. Okay, so how can we improve that message? Here's an example. Your fastest, calmest part of the workday. Fresh coffee, mobile ordering, reliable Wi-Fi, breakfast ready under 5 minutes. So you can get in, get focused, get on with your day. That's directly addressing our client's problem that they're super busy, they need fast service, they want to do it really easily, and that we're solving their problem. They can stop in, get their coffee, get going. Okay. Also, just make sure, again, we'll get to this later in the presentation. If you're going to highlight these things, if you do have a mobile ordering platform, make sure it really works smoothly. There's a lot of platforms out there, right? I could order lunch right now during this presentation and it will, take a few clicks and I'll have it, outside my door by 1 p.m. Okay. There are processes and systems out there that run really smoothly. So if you're going to implement that in your business, just make sure it's easy for the user to, use from your website, right? Or use from whatever platform you have. If you're going to say breakfast is going to be ready in 5 minutes, you have that morning, rush that comes in for coffee and for breakfast. Maybe have a lot of grab and go. Make sure you have the staff that can provide that, right? Because oftentimes if a customer doesn't have a great experience, it's going to be hard again to have them become repeat customers. You know, give a good review or recommend your business. So again, you just want to make sure you're really aware of your operations. You're really aware of, this is how I'm serving my customer. And that's what you're highlighting for there. So again, as we go through these 10 strategies, thinking about your client, thinking about the messaging, and thinking about, all of those unique things about your business that makes you better than the competition, and that the problem that you're solving for your customers. So why does any of this matter? Research suggests that businesses that prioritize marketing, experience higher revenue growth. I think it's easy to think about marketing as something separate from your business. All of your marketing goals and efforts should be tied into business goals, okay? If you want to increase sales, increase foot traffic, increase brand awareness, community involvement, um, you really have to tie the marketing strategies to those goals. And as we'll put into place some systems on how to track that. It's very easy to be overwhelmed. We hear a lot of things happening with marketing. Where do we begin? As a business owner, we might feel like we're missing out on an opportunity if we're not on every social media platform or taking advantage of every platform. But again, going back to client, where are they? Let's be really strategic in that, and make sure that we're basing all of those decisions on data. We're going to put in some framework for you to track that data for your business. So first things first, strategy number one, commit to 1 hour a week. If Wednesdays from 12 to 1 work for you and you're going to spend, that hour for marketing, do it. Put it in your calendar right now. For the rest of the year, you're blocking off time, 12 to 1. If another day, morning, night works better, do that and invest that time. Make sure it doesn't become the hour where, oh, I catch up on paperwork or I do something else. Dedicate it to marketing. Here's just a simple framework you could put into place. And of course, it could change to meet your needs, right? You could spend 20 minutes of that hour block on visibility. How do you raise small business visibility for your business? Maybe it's creating content. Maybe it's updating your online presence, which we'll get to later. Maybe it's writing a blog. Maybe it's applying for, a local event that's taking place, something that's building visibility for your business. Second 20 minutes, relationship building. Maybe you have a stack of business cards, you collected from a networking event that you haven't followed up on. Take 20 minutes, send those emails, make those calls, something that's going to build a relationship. Spend the next 20 minutes with your strategy and reviewing. Anything you're doing in visibility or relationship building, track that. That's going to be crucial for assessing what took the most time, what had the most results. And use whatever you like. It could be writing it in a notebook if that's what you prefer. If you want an Excel sheet or some sort of document, whatever is going to work for you, write down what did you do? How much time did it take? And then the following week, what were the results? Did you, schedule a meeting with that email you sent to the person you connected with last week? Did you get a few clicks to your website because of that social media post? Did someone come into your shop and say, "Oh, hey, I saw that, video, wanted to check you out"? Track all of that data. That's going to help you see where should you dedicate the time, the 1 hour a week, what are you going to spend doing it on? And then also, maybe after a couple weeks, you see this isn't working. How can we pivot and adjust? So again, this might change week by week, but this is just a way that maybe you could just, build it out for yourself. And here's just some potential results. If you dedicate that 20 minutes to doing 2 posts on social media, by the end of a full year, you'll have 100 posts on your channel. You could dedicate 1 hour. A lot of small businesses take the last week of the month, 1 hour. Okay, we need 2 posts a week. So that would be 8 social media posts total. I'm going to schedule that for the following month, and then I don't have to worry about social media because I utilize the built-in tools. If you have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they all have options where you can schedule posts ahead. You can take 1 hour a month, create those posts, schedule them out, you're done. You could do that this week and be done for June. Those 20 minutes each week, reaching out to someone in a network, you could have over 50 relationship touch points that you built. Think about how far that would go versus, not taking that 20 minutes each week to make a phone call, send an email, send a direct message on LinkedIn. Hey, I connected with you at that networking event. Let's grab a coffee. Let's schedule some, time on a Zoom. Think about how much further that would go. Another example, make it your goal. I'm skipping ahead to some of the decks today, but customer reviews are critical for a number of reasons. Make it a point each week to ask for a review. Think about if you got, a new review each week, again, over 50 business reviews. Even if you get half, I would love to have 25 new customer reviews on my Google business profile or my Facebook or on my, Open Table, Yelp, whatever platform you use for your business. So just those small things each week really add up. And again, track it all. This way you can, point to that data and say, I tried this, it did work, it didn't work, and then you can move forward and adjust. Okay. Second, you want to optimize your online presence. Okay. Your online presence is a business asset if you're on there. Again, it really depends on your business, who your clients are, as far as which platforms you're on. If you have a website, make sure the information is up to date. Make sure if you have a contact form in there that it works. Make sure you have buttons on your homepage, right? Buttons I can click on if I'm a user with calls to action. Let's work together. I'm going to click on it and it's going to take me to your contact form. Schedule a call today. If I click on it, it goes to, automatically calling your business. Okay. Making it clear you're guiding people on your website on what you want them to do, but make sure that that's clear on there. Check out any place your business appears online. Put in your business name into Google. What comes up? Do you see anything that's outdated or incorrect? Did you change your address and the old address is still populating? You want to fix that. You want to stop any type of, um, you know, block from your clients to get to you. If the contact form doesn't work, come up with another way, even if it's putting a phone number or an email, business email to get in contact with you. Clarify any outdated information. Make sure your hours of operation are updated. Make it really easy to find you. If you have something, a Google business profile, you can really take advantage of that by posting updates on there, really getting specific on your products or your services. Again, getting ahead of myself, having those reviews is key. If you're a member of any industry organization, Chamber of Commerce, you're located in Philadelphia within a business improvement district or a CDC, and your business gets a business listing, take advantage of that. Anywhere that someone can find you, um, if that works for your business, again, make sure that the business information's up to date. All of the buttons work. It's easy to get in touch with you, and making sure that that information, is again consistent across those platforms. The next thing is if your business is on every social media platform, and you really don't have time for being a full-time social media content creator, that is a full-time job in itself. If someone on your team is doing it, please, thank them because it takes a lot of time. But let's get strategic and make it work for us in our schedule. So a way you can do that is to focus on one platform. Again, goes back to your client. Where are they online? If you are a home services, Facebook might work for you. You might not think that, but check out the local neighborhood pages. Right now, everyone's looking for contractors, right? They need landscaping services. They want a new patio for the summer. They want to make some home updates. That's a place to consider checking out. If you have something where maybe you're retail or food focused and you see maybe Instagram where you can really highlight, some great video and photos, maybe that works best for you. If you're B2B, I'm going to assume maybe it's LinkedIn. So you want to maybe just focus on one. Again, take advantage of that scheduling feature. You could spend one day, 1 hour each month, create the content, schedule it, it's done for the whole month. But really think about your audience. Where are they spending your time? If you have these platforms set up, go take a look. Each platform offers analytics and it'll show you how much, how many clicks to your website do you get from the platform? How many, followers do you have there? But you really want to look at the engagement. How long are they watching your videos? And see where you're really getting results. If you go into your website's analytics, either the Google Analytics or whatever platform you have, it should also indicate where you're getting traffic from. So it might say you're getting traffic from Instagram, you're getting traffic from Facebook. Okay, great. That's really good to know and might help inform you on which platform to focus on. If you do have Facebook and Instagram, you can link those business accounts where you can schedule a post and it will, post to both. So that is kind of a workaround if you want to keep, a presence on both of those. But again, think really about, look at the engagement. You likely know where, your audience is, and focus on one. If you get stuck with what do I post? Post things that you're doing. um, Keep it simple as possible. The goal is, yes, it would be great to post every day of the week. Go for 2 times a week. And if you post twice a week, every week, that's really going to build consistency, right, over time. Ideas that you could think about behind the scenes, again, if you feel comfortable, if that suits your business, Oh, look at FAQs. What type of questions do you get from clients? That's great. Address that. Summer is a great time to apply that to your business. How I saw a local fitness center. Summer's a great time to what? If you're working out or get back in the gym, right? Um, if you're, here's three tips to weatherize your home for the summer. If you're in, home services or something like that. If you're in retail, here's our three new products for the summer. Whatever you can do, kind of tie different topical seasonal things in. Think about what clients ask you, address those questions in social media, right? Provide tips, provide, new products or services. Did you know? These are just ideas to think about. But again, the goal might just be 8 posts each month. Let's get to them, and you can build that out. Also look for, what are some of those, fun national days of, if you're an ice cream shop, I'm sure there's an ice cream day one time each year, and you can build a whole, campaign around that. Again, I saw some wellness, fitness, businesses on today. I'm sure that there is a national workout day or fitness month, right? Think about those, types of promotional opportunities for your business that can really, become a whole month's social media campaign. Another tip, if you do have content, if you have a website, if you have a blog, if you have an email newsletter, social media, anything else, reuse it. Think about, you'll read about it, you'll hear about it, batch content making, right? If you're making cookies, you gather all those ingredients, you're not going to put them all together to just bake a single cookie, right? You're going to, do, 24 cookies. So if you're going to take the time to create some content, we want to make as many as we can out of that, one time. So how can we do that? Okay, if you're going to start with a blog on your website, okay, how can we then break that down? We can pull out some of the content to focus in on an email newsletter with links back to that blog. Read more here for 3 tips on how to get ready for the summer. Then we can take each of those tips you might have mentioned, 3 ways, to get ready for summer, and that's 3 posts. So then you can break that down into smaller social media posts. Again, customer questions, you're probably, speaking directly to your audience. Again, you're being helpful, you're building that trust, you're educating. So turn that maybe into a video. Customers want to know how to get ready for summer. Here's some ways. Or just take a look at you know, phone calls that came in. If you have staff, talk to them. What are you hearing about? Just different ways to really engage. And if you were that customer, that's so cool. If you see, the business is talking about what you asked about, it's really like acknowledging them that you're engaging and taking the time. So those are just some, ideas if you're, thinking about different types of content. If you teach workshops or you're, a guest speaker anywhere, you can turn those into email tips, right? We all get those emails where it's buy now, but ones that might stand out are ones that offer tips or advice or insights. You don't have to give away your whole business, especially if you're in like coaching or consulting, but you can offer just maybe some, few educational pointers or tips for your business. Again, it engages, and you're really building that trust and offering that help. And that gave it away, my next slide. If you ever get really stuck, I know sometimes, especially when you feel like I need to post on social media, what am I going to do? You can always think about some educational things, right? Here's just some examples. If you're a bakery, how do I, store a cake ahead of a holiday? If you're a consultant, maybe there's a common mistake that you see clients make or that's in your industry that maybe you could, share or something like that. If you're a yoga studio, fitness center, maybe there's some simple stretches, you could show or recipe ideas or things like that. Again, think about brainstorm, just some different things that you could highlight. Again, it really highlights your business, establishes you as an authority, and also builds that trust. Okay, five. Um, it's 12:30 and we're halfway through, so I'm glad we're making time, and hopefully we'll have some time at the end to do some Q&As. Number five, so important for a number of reasons. One, of course, for customers. React, like, raise your hand. Do you check out business reviews before you go to a business, a restaurant, a healthcare provider, anything, right? We likely check out the reviews. These can appear on Google or any type of platform. Yelp, I believe OpenTable, right? Facebook, any type of place where you can get reviews. This is key for your business. You want to make it really easy for customers to do this. You also want to make sure you're asking happy customers for reviews, okay? It builds the trust and create a simple system. Okay, here's an example. If you have, a register or a place where you make an appointment or like a front desk at your business, put a sign with a QR code, that has something like, we love reviews. We appreciate reviews. Makes it really easy. Make sure that your staff knows, okay, this month, this is what we're focusing on. Remember, go back to the results. If we get one or two a month, that could be 2 dozen by the end of the year. That would be awesome for your business. So make sure it's something that's top of mind. Provide a direct link, make it easy to do. It was so nice helping you today. Hope you had a great, time. Would really appreciate as a, small business if you could leave a review. I hear clients say all the time they go to and the customer's already, doing it. A lot of customers are aware and open to doing this. They want to help you, right? Especially if you've went above and beyond and provided a really, great experience for them. So again, make it easy and personal. You could have just a QR code somewhere. You can provide a direct link. Again, it really builds trust. Another thing where this really comes into play is with AI search results, as well as Google. Okay. It's scanning the text that's within a customer review, and it's indicating to them that your business is active, it has customers, and it can provide that result within the summary if someone's asking for five local coffee shops, right? In a neighborhood, I'll say in Fishtown. I'm going to Google top five coffee shops in Fishtown. What comes up? If you look and just do it, for your own business or your industry, it's pulling reviews because it's, using it as a source of verification of trust of what people are saying and providing that. And oftentimes it's using those reviews and ranking that more trustworthy than, say, text that's on a website. So again, it's kind of like a two part thing to think about. One, you really want to have it for your customers. Again, if you have a few reviews, that's great. Build it, build it, build it. And then also understand the impact that it's also having on your search results, whether it's Google, an AI tool, it can be really powerful. And again, no cost, create a simple way for your customers. Just really do it in a goodwill, sense. If you have a QR code, again, it's easy for them just to link through and do it. If they leave a review, please thank them in a timely way. If you can't monitor it, get someone on your staff if you have them, a family member, someone just to give you a heads up that people are leaving reviews. Again, Google and AI are also able to analyze if the business is responding. And two, if you've ever left a review and the business responds back, like, it makes you feel really good. So make sure that, I'm going to say within a day, but certainly within 2 to 3 days, please respond. They took the time to really, endorse your business, give you a good review, reply back. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Acknowledge that they're leaving the positive review. If it's a negative review, you want to take that discussion offline and handle it directly, but get that conversation offline. Uh, but certainly if they're, leaving reviews, make sure you're acknowledging it and thanking them. Okay. Moving on, since we're at about 12:35 for now. Email marketing. This is a really powerful tool. It's relatively low cost for this. I always just advise to please be clear if you're going to use the email to send marketing materials. Um, I've heard people say, oh, it's okay to just, take any email and put it into my email marketing system. I'm sure that's happened to you, and now you're getting a salesy type email every day. You don't want that kind of, reputation for your business, right? So you want to make sure that you're very clear. If you even just have like a sign up, again, QR code at your, counter, your register, where you make appointments, subscribe to our newsletter for latest updates. Just be really clear on how you're going to use that email. Also, really, take care and protect customers' information. There's a lot of email marketing platforms out there that are pretty easy to use. You can build a page right in there where it has that checkbox. I agree to receive email marketing from this company. Do your research, do the demos, see which platform you like. There's a lot that offer either no cost or low cost tiers. Oftentimes it's dependent on the amount of emails you have. So it's something to consider. Now, if you're just starting and this is going to add to the time, um, you might want to be careful with it. However, it's really a direct line of communication to people who are saying, yes, I want to learn about your business. So it can be really powerful. Again, one of the most cost-effective and highest return on investment channels, right? Um, these are people that are coming into your business, calling you, and are agreeing to provide their email to get updates. Again, you can collect emails at checkout, use a QR code. You can have a sign up form on your website or on your social media pages. You're able to create that sign up form within an email marketing platform. And then it'll give you the link. You can build the page on what information you're asking for, and it'll provide that checkbox to say, yes, I agree. Again, making sure that you're taking care of the customer, right? We're going back to building that trust. You can send things like monthly tips, new products or services, reminders that you're hosting an event, or updates, reminders about things coming up. It's a really powerful tool. It can also, again, provide a tremendous amount of data. If everyone's really interested in this new product that you featured, you're able to get that early indication on numbers of clicks from the email to your website, right? You can even, say, bring this email in and get, I don't know, a free coffee with a purchase of, and another item. Again, you're able to track that. How many people came in this month and showed me that email? You're able to really see, again, the results of your marketing efforts. And this is a really great group of people that are interested in following your business. So it's something to consider. You might have to build in an hour of your time to, craft that, nurture that group. But it's a good way, again, to get some early indications on, I have a new menu and here's some of the items. Which item, if you feature three, got the most clicks. Again, early indications for you to say, oh, people really liked this, new ice cream flavor that I debuted. Um, Again, it's giving you that data. And each of those platforms can really provide a lot of analytics as well, showing you, which sections of your website got the most clicks. Then maybe you can see, base that off of online orders, how many people that are subscribed to your email then make a purchase. Again, providing you a lot of data to make really informed decisions for your business. Next is leveraging your existing network. Sometimes this might be overlooked, but it's really an opportunity for your business, right? Think about people in your network. And again, just remind them, here's what I'm offering now. It can be friends and family, former clients. A lot of times, if you have some clients you haven't heard of, that's a good place to start. They've already made purchases. You know, retain them. Colleagues, different community groups or alumni networks that you might be a part of. But think about how you can engage relationships that you already have. Maybe you have a VIP night, right? Friends and family, those different types of things where you can really, again, focus on the network that you already have built. Sometimes that can be a little bit easier than, again, creating a whole new network for your business. And then also think about collaboration. For small business owners, and I've worked with small businesses for many years, also in neighborhoods where small business owners will say it's really hard for me to leave my business and be able to walk to the street around the corner. I had no idea that that new coffee shop opened, or I would have recommended people that came into my business who said, "Where should I go for lunch?" Right? If I don't know where to direct you, I don't know that you just opened, I can't send, you know, customers that are here in person looking to make a purchase right now to your cafe because I don't know you exist. Hear that all the time. Again, maybe that's the hour that you spent, that you just spend an hour introducing yourself to the businesses along your block or along your corridor, right? Be strategic. If, you know, there's local shops. Maybe people then want to grab a coffee, grab some lunch. Be strategic in maybe who you're reaching out to. Maybe there's some businesses there right within walking distance or close by where you kind of share the same audience, but you're not a direct competitor. Um, think about those partnerships and collaborations that you could build and then partner with them. Different types of ideas could just be referral partnerships. If someone comes into my business and they mention, again, they want to go to lunch, I'm in, say, a wedding industry, and they just ordered I don't know, a wedding cake, I'll say, oh, did you check out the florist around the corner too? Maybe they could help you out. Those types of things where maybe there are some businesses that serve the same audience or needs, but they're not direct competitors that you could help out. Another opportunity could be, guest social media posts. Hey, want to feature, the businesses on my block. They'll really appreciate that. You can stop by and say, would love to share some, information about you. You're showing that goodwill, building that community. These are just some ideas. They might not apply to your specific business, but just different ways to think about, how you could collaborate with other uh, businesses that are in your area, within your industry, within your neighborhood. Again, to really build that community, but also down the line to build that referral network back to you. And then that also lends itself into staying active in your community. And again, that could really depend on the type of business you have, whether you do have an, brick and mortar location or studio. But think about, your community, and that might be an online community, right? Or that might be a really niche industry specific, depending on your business. But if there's opportunities to engage with your local community, the visibility still can matter and can still have impact, right? So think about networking events. Are there chambers, business groups, business organizations, civic groups that make sense, that align, that would be worth, again, going back to that hour you set, maybe this hour this week, I'm going to go to an event, and my goal is to leave with 3 new connections. The following week, my hour is spent sending, nice follow-up emails, connecting with them on LinkedIn, following the business platforms of the other businesses that I met. And I want to focus on building those relationships, right? There's oftentimes local events. Maybe your neighborhood has, an annual fair or market or something like that, where Okay, it might not be, a huge sales day. Some businesses say, oh, yeah, it's great. But maybe it's an opportunity to hand out coupons and say, bring this back for, whatever offer or discount. Again, it's providing real data to see how many, redemptions of that flyer that you gave out. These are just, again, different examples to put real data behind um, your marketing decisions. If you didn't really get out of a lot out of that event, you tried it, maybe next year it's not something that I participate in, or you say, wow, that was my best sales day. It was great weather, and I'll do it every year. Different opportunities is speaking at workshops or panels. Think about your industry. Think about your story as a small business owner. There's a lot of different groups who are always looking for guest speakers. You can offer workshops. Think of those opportunities. One, that builds goodwill with the organization or the community you're serving. It also highlights you and establishes you as an authority within your industry. Um, Again, what a better way if you videotape that or record that. Now you have some social content if the organization allows you to repost it, or you can kind of break, whatever presentation you gave or workshop you gave into some tips and say, hey, if you didn't, catch me at that chamber event, here's some of the tips that I shared. And now you have some social media content or a blog. Um, so there's different ways that you can really build that local community. I see a lot now, businesses are kind of starting podcasts or at least doing kind of some conversations with other business owners and recording that. And, it can be a blog post or some social content, just different out of the box ideas to think about for really engaging with your community. Again, local social media groups, I hear a lot of local businesses say they have a lot of success with that. You might be able to go to your neighborhood page and see people post, oh, looking for someone to do a repair, looking for, a local baker, have an event coming up. Those could be good leads. Of course, think about not all social media leads might be qualified or the best matches for you, but again, it might be a good way to promote your business or engage with the community, or at least have a pulse on, oh, this is, the needs of my community or what people are talking about. So again, thinking about the community, how you can be a part of it, um, building that trust and those relationships. And lastly, thinking about being the business that follows up first. Um, Come up with a system that works for you, whether that's you have your email on your phone, you get a text when you get, an inquiry. If you have a contact form on your website, you get an email directly. Having some sort of system where you're not missing customer phone calls, emails, DMs. Okay, seeing a lot of that. If you have social media, I'm going to say that a lot of times now clients, and if anybody is experiencing this in your business, engage, react, share. A lot of clients might not be picking up the phone, might not be sending an email, they might be sending you a direct message. Okay. There's a way within social media platforms that you can put an automatic reply. It might be a link to your website, or it might say, we don't monitor this 24/7, but contact us here. You likely may have received those bounce backs with your own messages or outreach. So the business that follows up first is likely going to get the client. Okay. Responding too slowly, you can lose some qualified leads there. Okay. So think about if you have a contact form on your website, is it working? Do you get immediate notification that someone reached out to you? What's that process like? If you have staff, are they clear on who contacts the customer? And I'm sure you've experienced this. If you reach out and you get an immediate reply back, you're in that mindset of, I want to make a purchase, I want to learn more, and you're more likely then to do that, right? If you send the email and you don't hear back, and then it's a week later, that client has likely already moved on. They've, selected another business. Also, think about the type of business you are. And I know that I keep going back to home services, but anything where it really is time specific, right? I wake up today, I have a huge, you know, water leak in my basement. I'm going to hit Google and I'm going to call the 5 businesses that come up. And more than likely, the first one that gets back to me and says, oh, yes, I can be out in an hour, I'm likely going to go with them because of the situation I'm in, right? They might not be the most cost-effective business. They might not be the business that has the most experience, but they're the ones that called me back and they have a, system in place where they're able to come out today. To help me out, right? If you offer that, if you take appointments on weekends, if you have a 24-hour, call system, make sure that's highlighted. Again, if I go to Google and I see that, I'm going to call them first, right? So just make sure that however you're getting communications from clients, that the forms work, they're easy to use. I can get someone on the other line. Make sure you're monitoring your messages. Um, Again, it might vary on business by business. Make sure your staff is aware if they're on, if they're handling, your business closing, make sure that they're also monitoring it. Or if they open your business, that they're, checking the messages overnight if you still have that in place, following up with any inquiries that you might have gotten, when your business was closed. But that's just also another tip on just how to make your marketing most effective. So just, an overview. If you're marketing on a budget, you don't have a ton of time. If you can do an hour, if it's 30 minutes, if you can do more than an hour, great. But time block every week where you're focusing in on it. Make sure that those marketing strategies are tying back to a business initiative or goal. Optimize your online presence. Go check your business out today. What's coming up? Can you find? Update anything that's outdated or incorrect. Make sure that same messaging appears in all of the locations. Focus on one platform. If you have a lot going, where's your audience? Focus on that one. You can always then expand, but just make sure you're doing the one um, consistently. Reuse content. Think about how you can, take one topic and really create different forms of content for that. Ask happy customers for reviews, even if you get, 2 a month. Wow, 24 reviews in a year. That's awesome. That's amazing. Keep doing that. If you utilize email marketing, maybe leverage it. If you don't and you have the capacity, again, think about the time. That's a really cost-effective way. Just make sure you're following all policies, and use reputable platforms for that. Leverage your existing network, build new partnerships in your community, see if there's opportunities, and be the company that follows up first. When you get those new inquiries, have that system in place for who's reaching out to the new client. You might even want to build out, what's the script? How does that call go? Think about things you want to mention. What's the system in place? If you're on the phone with them and they say, yes, I want to buy that now. Yes, I want that service now. Do you have that system in place to process it? Think that through. If there's going to be staff members who are doing that, make sure they're clear on the process as well. Again, just making sure that you have that, consistent following up and process in place for your business. So I am going to check out and see if I can answer any of these questions in the chat. Um, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for spending time today. And again, if you are interested um, in working together, um, let me see if there's any other questions. Um, We'll send out a survey. We love to have your feedback on this. If you do any presentations or any opportunities, you could have a graphic like this for your business, QR code, sign up for our email, and we'd love for you to follow ours. If you liked today's webinar, you can go to our YouTube, and there are hundreds of videos on all different topics. So if you're curious, you can go check that out. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So be sure to connect with us there. And please, if you're interested in working with one of our consultants on, a business topic, please reach out, fill out our form. We look forward to working with you there as well. And we'll also have a whole bunch of new webinars coming up this summer. So love for you to join us. So thank you so much for spending the afternoon with us here at Temple. And we look forward to working with you.
Thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Gab, for presenting today. So a survey for today's presentation has been posted in the chat box. We value your feedback, as is also required by our funders to continue to provide these no-cost webinars. A follow-up email will be sent to all attendees within the next 2 business days with today's recording too. Have a nice day, guys.